Hello, it's March 2023 and oh my goodness, it's chilly. It's chilly out there. Even when it's sunny, it's chilly. I can't wait for it to be spring, proper spring. Summer, I don't like the cold. So, what have I got in store for you as my energy update for March 2023? As is my practice, I take 4 cards every month to guide us through the energy of the month ahead and help us navigate it in the best way possible, according to the energies that are surrounding us and that we are being presented with. So, what is our overarching energy for March 23? It's the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is an interesting card because it's actually quite a tricky card to read in tarot. If you're learning tarot, you'll probably see the Hierophant card and go, oh God, because it's one of those cards, a bit of a chameleon. Now, the word Hierophant actually means somebody who interprets religious or spiritual or esoteric symbols to communicate the truth according to those symbols. So it's somebody who is communicating the truth in some way. Now, what it actually means in regards to a tarot reading is what you believe. So it's all about belief systems, it's all about tradition, it's about formality, it can be about dogma. Now, what this means in regards to this reading, I think, is it's referring to our belief systems and how they're going to affect what we do and say over the month ahead. So what do you religiously say? What do you religiously believe? Now, I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about the truths by which you live and the things that you say as a way of making the rules of your life. Okay? And these are the traditions. These are the traditions. These are sort of the way you make sense of things. What's right, what's wrong, what's fair, what's not. Those sorts of things will be, you've learnt them, they're hardwired in. So they're going to be having a big effect this month. It's quite interesting. So we might look at where we may say that the classic, I don't know why she did that. I would never do that. That would be a Hierophant statement. I don't know why she did that. I would never do that. She shouldn't have done that because I wouldn't have done it. So what we're saying is that I believe this thing to be true and this thing is right because I believe it to be so. And therefore the other person is wrong because they're not adhering to my way of seeing things. Now that makes that person sound a bit judgmental, but we all do it in lots of different ways. We may term ourselves to be an optimist, always looking at the sunny side of life, or we may term ourselves a realist. Nope, I don't like optimism. It's far too dangerous and all that, fluffy bunny stuff. I'm a realist, which the optimist might say, well, that makes you more pessimistic. Whatever those two positions are, they're going to be your Hierophant statement. That's the way you communicate. That's the way you see life. That is your personal religion. And that's going to show up for you in your conversations, in the way you handle negotiations, in the way you act, in the decisions you make. They're the rules by which you live. And this is the Hierophant. So, interestingly enough, that's going to be really pivotal. And when we look ahead to the rest of the reading, we can see that it carries through. So what is the energy that we are being asked to embrace as that will benefit us most this coming month? And we have the card of Strength. And the card of Strength is, you can see this chap here, he's standing on a mound, which means he's on higher ground. So he's standing slightly above, and all his chakra points are all in alignment. So he's calm and he's unaffected by what's going on around him. So this sort of stormy, energetic backdrop that we see him, he's just standing there on higher ground, unmoved. And what the Strength card tells us is that we need to be able to endure some discomfort. None of us like that, do we? Let's be honest. So why should we endure discomfort? Well, because it will get us the best result. It's enduring discomfort for a bigger picture, really. And so when we look at the card, we can see that there are all kinds of stuff going on in the background that's going to be pulling at him. It's going to be asking for his reaction. He's not giving it, not giving a reaction. He's simply remaining centered and unmovable. He's calm, and he is just within himself. And that's the energy that we're being asked to adopt, non-reactive. And it's asking us not to be responsive to things that might set us off. Because I think we're going to be having a few red buttons pushed this month. I think we've got a bit of a trial coming up with regards to how we're going to respond to irritants. Interesting, isn't it? So, what is the energy that is going to challenge us most? And we have the Three of Pentacles. Other people. Talking of irritants, other people. Now, the Three of Pentacles is an interesting card. Look, we've got three people on the card, three guys. They've each got a hat on, a different color hat, and they're all reading a communal plan. And that plan is something that they have all agreed is the correct plan, and they all have a different role to play in making that plan work. So everybody on that card knows their role and knows the role of the other people. So what happens when somebody decides they're going to step outside that role, or that they're going to change the arrangement? Maybe that role has a hierarchy attached to it. After all, the Hierophant is part of the overarching energy. So hierarchies, who's in charge? Who has the most authority? Who's the one that says? All of this is going to be coming into play, and it's our relationships with other people around those areas which are going to give us the biggest flashpoints, because that's what I think this is talking about. When we look at the Strength card, we can see that there is potential energetic disturbance, which in tarot speak means a bit of drama. The potential for a bit of drama in the mix. And what the cards are asking us to do is not to lean into that drama, to watch our own habitual responses when faced with other people, perhaps in a work environment, but it could also be relationships. It can be relationships where we're saying, well, this is your role in things and this is my role in things. It's not my job, you do it. Yeah? What are the things that just come out of our mouth? Right? I'm not taking the bins out. That's your job. I don't know. That's trite, but you know what I mean. It's looking at our relationships to other people and what are our pre-assigned roles and what do we expect of them and what should they expect of us? Who's in charge? Who's subordinate? And are they happy about that? So we're going to have to look at all of that. So our relationships with people and how we work within them, and that job is going to be really important. Now, last month's energy was really good. It was really zingy, and it was telling us that we had to really charge ahead, set goals, go for it this month, go. And that was a great energy. It was really good. And I think that energy is still in play. But I think that we could get in the way of it if we're not careful. So, you know, what the Spirit has given us with this is a heads up I think, as to what could be a problem this month. So what is the message from Spirit this month? It is the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is probably the most understanding and emotionally mature of all the Tarot Kings. King of Pentacles is quite good as well, but the King of Cups is baseline. And he understands himself first and foremost. He understands his reactions. He understands his flashpoints. He knows his red buttons, and he knows how not to have them pressed. So it's all about self-knowledge and self-mastery and our emotional responses to things. The King of Cups also takes responsibility for the emotional environment. So he knows that he's got a lot of power and he knows how to use it. Now we're going to work on the premise that he's going to use it well and intelligently and compassionately to get the best result for him and for everybody else, because there's something here that we want to get done. And if we're going to get that thing done, then what we've got to do is not get in the way of the process, right? So the King of Cups is our message from Spirit, and it's asking us to take responsibility for our own position. And if we step out verbally or we get into conflict with somebody, we don't hand the blame to them. We look at ourselves first and go, do you know what? I had a role to play in that. I didn't help it. Now, the other good thing about the King of Cups is not only does he take responsibility for himself, but he understands the other person's position. If we look at the card, we can see he's showing up as a kind of counselor or a psychotherapist. He gets where they're coming from. And he understands that when he says something, or he shows up with an agenda, or he shows up saying a thing, he has a reason for doing so. But then so does the other person. He understands that he can't control their response, but they'll have a reason for showing up in the way that they do. And in understanding that, that gives him some power, because he doesn't just need to respond against it from his own personal position. He can understand where they're coming from, and then perhaps he can turn the situation around by his own emotional intelligence, which is great. And that's how it's done. There you go, a little bit of Hierophant for you there. That's the way to do it. It's all about mastery and who's in charge. So he wants you to be in charge of your emotional responses. Now, this is not about becoming overly flexible or just giving in or just saying, oh, I understand your problem, it's all right, don't worry about it. It's not about that. Strength is not talking about caving in. Strength is talking about being strong, staying in your position, but not leaning into somebody else's stuff, not being triggered by somebody else's response, not mirroring back to them their defensiveness or whatever it is that's showing up. Don't bat it back at them. You stay completely calm, unmoved, unflappable. That's the trick. And we'll get the best result out of the month. And it's really interesting to work out, if we can keep it in mind throughout the month, to see where it might come up, and to look at what the difference might be if we can show up in a way that is not how we would normally approach it, but we can bring a different energy to the table, see how that changes the outcome, and see if it just makes things a bit smoother, makes things a bit more productive, stops everything grinding to a halt in either, I don't know, bickering or just outright, throwing toys out of prams. So that should be interesting, I think, this month. And I hope that's interesting and helpful to you, and that you can watch how that plays out for you throughout the month ahead. Let's see, shall we? So I hope you've enjoyed that little reading for our month, our collective month ahead. I'm going to be doing a little bit more. I keep on saying that, but it's true. I'm going to be making that a reality. I plan to be going live on Instagram once a week, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be reading, have I got it here? See, if I was an organized person, I'd have it in front of me, wouldn't I? I'm going to be reading from my book, Perfect Match. And I'm going to be reading it in installments. So it's going to be a case of sitting down with a nice cup of tea and having me read to you. It'll be like, do you remember Jackanory? Oh my God, I'm so old. You probably don't, you're far too young. But anyway, Jackanory was a children's program where you sat and somebody read you a story, and it was really, really lovely. So I'm hoping that would be enjoyable. So I'm going to read the book to you, and then after I've read for about 10 minutes, I'm going to be taking some cards, and I'm going to be talking about the cards in relation to what we've just read. And let's see how that pans out. Let's see if that's fun. I think that'll be a really nice, relaxing thing to do. So I'll be posting the video on YouTube anyway, but I hope you'll be able to join me on Instagram. I'll put some messages up on the website and on the newsletter, which is, I'm going to commit to it in the newsletter, which hopefully you've already seen. Commit, Janice, that's what you have to do. So my darlings, it's been lovely to see you, and if you like the channel, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. If you would like a reading, just jump on over to tarotreadinglondon.com and you can book a reading with me there. In the meantime, I'll say goodbye, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.